Hi guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome back to my channel. And yes, today is another author interview day. And my author today is Mr. Anirban, and he will be talking about his book, The Deadly Dozen. Now, I would like to share a few things about him. He is the co-creator, writer, and producer of Savdhan India. He's also the producer of Crime Patrol and Fear Files. He's an actor and has appeared in movies like Sweet Dhaga and Mission Mangal. And he's also an award-winning stand-up comedian. A stand-up comedian, but somebody who has written a book like Deadly Dozen. What is the book Deadly Dozen about? And many more factors about crime. So come, let us talk to him about his book, The Deadly Dozen. Come. Okay. Sir, thank you so much for joining, and it's really a pleasure meeting you today.
Thank you so much for having me on your show, and it's a pleasure for me too.
So, who is a serial killer? As we are going to talk about your book, who is a serial killer, and how do they choose their prey according to you? The victim, I should put it.
First of all, for those of you who don't know, this is the book that I have written. It's called The Deadly Dozen, India's Most Notorious Serial Killers. It's a book about 12 of the most dastardly and heinous serial killers that India has seen. Now, to define who is a serial killer, technically, there's a difference between a serial killer and a mass murderer. Or a serial killer is someone who commits the same kind of crime over a period of time, killing multiple people. So, for example, if someone kills 10 people within the family or in the same night or in one incident, so he's a mass murderer, he'll not be a serial killer. So, these serial killers operate with a particular modus operandi, particular style, particular thinking. They choose their victims as per their own, modus operandi, and that's how they become serial killers. Now, how do they choose? Each and every serial killer has their own way of choosing, their victims. For example, Raman Raghav, who was in Mumbai in the 60s, chose poor people who lived in shanties, people who lived in slums. And he was a serial killer because he was a scavenger. He needed things to, keep his life going. So he would kill, two people in the family and then take away a tin of dalda. So that was him. On the other hand, there are people like, Cyanide Mohan, who was a teacher in South India, and his technique was very different. He was also a sexual predator, and he liked the art of killing. So he would pretend to be. He would first of all target single women, right? He would stand at a bus stand and he would scan the entire woman to see Mangal Sutra pehna hai ki nahi, sindoor hai ki nahi, all of that. And when he would realize that they are single women and slightly older, which means that they are beyond the marriageable age, he would go and talk to them and pretend to be from their community. Now, we know in India, when a woman goes beyond a certain age, there is a stigma attached to her saying, "Are yaar, iska to shadi nahi hone wala hai," which is absolutely unfair and ridiculous. But that practice is still on, that social stigma, whether it's in South or North or anywhere in the country. So he would then go and pretend to be someone who is interested in her. And because she would have lost hope of getting married, she would get excited and befriend him. And he would also, she'll ask you, he would ask you, "What is your name?" So the girl would say, "My name is Sujata Bose." So he would say, "Hey, I'm also Bengali," and suddenly pretend to be that. So that was his modus operandi. So every serial killer has his own style of operating, and each one of them is, more devious than the other, so to speak. Yeah.
So, it is said that crime is born out of necessity. So, do you feel this statement is justified with these killers?
No, no. Um, Small crimes can come out of necessity. You know, you're stealing something, but murder, time again, is the necessity for the perverted mind to get satisfied. It's not for any other reason. Though they all started off in the Indian serial killers differ a bit from the Western serial killers in the sense that in the West they're openly psychotic, or they display psychotic behavior. In India, it is what I have noticed and I've understood is that the first step usually is towards stems from greed, right, or aspiration, um, and then it becomes a habit. But all of the serial killers are psychotic in nature, even in India, right? Because they enjoyed killing after a point of time. It became a habit for them, right? Even if it was Cyanide Malika, who wanted to be rich, so she would trap women in temples and then pretend to be a pujarin and to tell them that, oh, I can solve your problems, and by performing a special puja, come and meet me by wearing all your jewelry because the gods want to see you beautiful. And the victims would come to her, and then she would give them cyanide as prasad and kill them instantly and steal the jewelry and walk away. Now, it's a habit, and they do it because they think they can get away, right? Once they do it, twice they do it, thrice they do it, and they say, oh, okay, so, I can get away with it, and then it becomes a habit, a ruthless habit.
Sir, what is a criminal mind? A small boy who starts stealing is nurturing a criminal mind, and according to you, is criminal mind a product of circumstances, or something is genetically also wrong with them? It's in their genes.
अभी 80s का फिल्म देखो, 80s के फिल्म में क्या होता था? दो भाई होते थे, बिछड़ जाते थे, एक गरीब होता था, एक अमीर होता था. अब गरीब बच्चा जो यूजुअली अमिताभ बच्चन होता था, वो उसको भूख लगता था, वो देखता था कि सेठ के दुकान पे पाव रखा हुआ है ना, एंड देन वो पाव छीनता था और वो भागता था, सब बोलते थे चोर 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 चोर, and then you cut to the foot and you pull out and then it's Amitabh Bachchan, right? बच्चे से बड़े हो गए. So when a boy or someone steals like that, it's out of necessity, right? It's not necessarily criminal, right? अब आज के लॉकडाउन के पीरियड में आप देखो कैसे migrant laborers are suffering and without food and they're walking hundreds and thousands of kilometers. What is it that will not stop them of just picking up things of food but they're still not doing it, which is absolutely hats off to them. But that is out of necessity. A criminal is someone who's bigger, right? And a criminal is usually someone who thinks he or she can get away. एक बार समझ में आता है कि चलो ठीक है, चुरा लिया, ये भूखा था, चुरा लिया. अब वो ही जब हैबिट बन जाता है तब that person becomes a criminal. And the killers that I have dealt with in this book are heinous criminals. वो पाव नहीं चुरा रहे, वो जिंदगियां छीन रहे हैं, लाइफ चुरा रहे हैं सबके. You've got people who've killed 15 people, 17 people. You've got a person like Thug Behram who's killed over 900 people. So those are absolute, mastermind criminals, and so they cannot be equated to the small boy stealing something, which are absolutely two different schools.
Are their criminal minds also a result of a genetic disorder which they have, or probably, or it is that they as you are saying that they get satisfaction in killing 15 to 20 people?
Now, if there's a huge debate within me as well, right? जब मैं लिख रहा था ये किताब, और I was shocked at what I was finding out. And when we say that the person was insane or mentally disbalanced or impaired, it's like almost justifying their actions. You know what happens in court cases? The lawyer often takes the stand of saying कि ये तो mentally unsound था, and then they get away from hanging and get life imprisonment or 10 years rigorous imprisonment. It's almost like if I say that, oh, these guys were बिचारा यार, immediately it comes कि ये तो पागल थे. Then they're not responsible for their own actions. You are telling them that तू तो ठीक था यार, बेचारा तेरा कोई गलती नहीं है, तू पागल था, इसलिए तूने ना 20 लोगों को मारा, तेरा तो गलती नहीं है इसमें. You know, that puts a huge question mark. Having said that, there obviously is some chemical locha in their brain. Psychologically, the id, the ego, and the superego. If you've read psychology, when the superego supersedes everything else, then that is the character that person is living, and that is what is driving the decisions and the actions. So these people may have been mentally unsound to continue killing, but they were criminals. So I would say कि do not even sympathize with them and say, oh यार बेचारा chemical लोचा था, इसके दिमाग में तो मार डाला लोगों को. You know, they knew exactly what they were doing. For example, there's a person, there's a mother and two daughters in Pune. Seema Gavit, Shinde, I'll tell you the name. Anjana Bai, Seema Gavit and Renuka Shinde. So there was a mother, I'll quickly tell you the story. There was a mother who was a pickpocket. So that was out of necessity, गरीब था. अभी चोरी करता था, मंदिर में जाके लोगों का पिकपॉकेट करती थी. अच्छा मैं बंगाली हूँ तो करती थी, कम एडजस्ट कर लेना, समझ में आ जाएगा. हाँ, so as long as people understand, it's okay. So she used to pickpocket. Now क्या हुआ कि एक दिन, she taught her two daughters also to pickpocket from a very young age. एक दिन क्या हो गया कि one of the daughters was carrying their auntie's child and gone to pickpocket. उस दिन वो पकड़ी गई. अब when the crowd got on to her, she said, अरे देखो मेरे गोद में तो बच्चा है, तुम कैसे सोच सकते हो कि मैं pickpocket होऊंगा, all of that. So they let her go. So उस दिन उनका दिमाग चमका कि भाई ये तो सही है. If we pretend to be mothers, then there is a sympathy factor. See how their dimag is working. There is a sympathy factor. So what they used to do now is पहले मंदिर में जाके वो बच्चे को उठाते थे. हम कहीं पे जाते हैं तो बोलते हैं, अच्छा बेटा इधर रुको, मैं अभी बलून लेके आ रहा हूँ, देखो मैं उधर ही हूँ, सामने हूँ, इधर रुकना, कहीं मत जाना. And in that 30 seconds, they would kidnap the child. Okay, then they would take him or her to the other temple, and if they got caught, they would smash the baby onto the floor, and then they would say, अरे देखो तुम लोग ने धक्का दिया, देखो मेरे बच्चे को क्या हो गया. So 19 or 18 kids they massacred like this. You know, so that's how they were. You know, so they knew exactly what they were doing. They were meeting their own ends at any cost. You know, and they didn't hesitate. एक बच्चे को वो लोग ने मार के एक डफल बैग में डाला, उसके बाद पिक्चर देखने गए. The duffel bag was under their feet in the hall, and then they kept that bag in the cinema hall and they walked out. So they knew exactly, and all of them knew exactly what they were doing. You know, except for maybe Raman Raghav and a young boy called Amardeep Sada, who was 7 years old. He's the world's youngest serial killer. He didn't know what he was doing. And he killed 3 babies. So, apart from that, सबको पता था कि क्यों कर रहे हैं और कैसे कर रहे हैं और all of that.
So generally it is said that the serial killers have got an above average IQ. So do you agree with this? And why is it so difficult to catch them?
Yes, I agree that they have very intelligent levels of IQ, बहुत high होते हैं. When you're an engineer, you concentrate only on that field, correct? So you become शातिर in that. तो ये लोग भी वो criminal intent से जिंदगी जी रहा है. So they only concentrate on that and they become experts, you know, in thinking and doing that. Then start पहली बार जब कुछ होगा, then they will refine that plan in their head. Saying अरे यार इधर मैंने ना गलती किया, अब मैं दूसरे तरीके से करूँगा. So that they will modify their plan. And you know, so they are very, very intelligent. If you read the book, you will find out how these people, you know, went about spotting and catching their prey. Like a Cyanide Malika. Like Cyanide Malika would go to the temple to. She first figured out कि मैं किसको target करूँगी. She realized women were the easiest targets, not men. And where she would target, she decided it was temple. Why? Because हम मंदिर में जब जाते हैं, we are emotionally very vulnerable. Either we are going there to pray for problems, कि भगवान मुझे बचा लो, या we are going there to share some good news. So our emotional guard is absolutely down. Then she would go to the victim and make friends with them and ask them ki why they have come to the temple. Okay? So that woman would say, the victim would say, oh, you know, I've not had a child for 10 years. My mother-in-law is scolding me. She's calling me Banj, all of that. Now, then immediately, Cyanide Malika would say, oh, I know a puja that can get you a child. And you know how we have temples specialized in certain things, like they say कि इधर जाके बच्चा होगा, उधर जाके ये होगा. So she knew all the temples of South India. And so she would say, अच्छा, you come to that temple and I will perform a puja, a special mandala puja for you. So वो victim भी सोचता, अच्छा वो temple में बुलाई है तो तब तो सच होगा. So you see how mind was so intelligent, and usually they don't get caught fast is because the law makes a lot of mistakes and it doesn't read between the lines. A serial killer, for example, even the Beerman case in Mumbai jab hua tha, it took the police quite a while to decipher that he was operating within a radius. So a serial killer always operates within a certain territory which he or she knows about.
Okay.
So if need be, they can get away, they can hide, they know the ins and outs of the area. So they always operate within that. अब जब Cyanide Mohan का case हुआ, all the bodies were turning up, but what he did this time was he went across the bus stands of Bangalore, different bus stands. So each bus stand came under different police station. Now each police station is not talking to each other, right? So ये इधर body मिल रहा है तो मिल रहा है, closed case. अभी इधर भी body मिल रहा है, ये भी closed case. Now if these two police stations were talking with each other, they would have found out that the modus operandi in the case was similar. So the police also makes a lot of slow progress, which helps in the criminal to be one step ahead of the law. But the law always catches up. जो बोलते कानून का हाथ लंबे हैं, वो पहुंच जाते हैं.
Okay. Sir, my other question is, since I mentioned in the beginning that my mother is also a very big fan of this Savdhan India and these books are there. Sir, like I can quote an example which I have lived through, that when once or twice I've told my mother, let us employ this maid, or another hypothetical example, let us go here. Nahi, I saw this happened in this episode. No, this is not safe. So, sir, reading this, does it inculcate fear more than a warning?
Now, when I created Savdhan India, when I co-created Savdhan India in 2012, where did that concept come from? It came from reality. जो असली जिंदगी में हो रहा है वही हम दिखाते हैं. ये फिक्शन तो है नहीं, करेक्ट? ये फिक्शन तो है नहीं कि हम बना के कुछ दिखा रहे हैं. So it is the reflection of reality, reflection of society. And your mother is absolutely correct in being fearful. क्योंकि अब देखो, criminals are all around us. अब माथे पे तो नहीं लिखा हुआ है ना कि ये किलर है, ये चोर है, ये डकैत है, लिखा तो नहीं है ना. They look like you and me. Correct. तो कहीं भी आपके साथ वो इंटरेक्शन में कुछ भी हो सकता है. So one has to always be cautious. मैंने एक आंटी से मिला दिल्ली में 2 साल पहले एयरपोर्ट पे. तो when she came to know that I created and produce and write सावधान इंडिया, तो उन्होंने बोला कि पता है आपके शो देखने के बाद ना मैं अभी दरवाजे में ना वो सेफ्टी वाला छिटकनी लगाता हूँ. And I don't open the door fully. So that's a learning, right? So one has to be really careful of who we are dealing with. I mean, you look at intelligent people, well-read people still fall for that Nigerian scam on emails. You know, I will transfer so much money, or people are, giving them bank details and everything. So stupidity का कोई लेवल नहीं है. हम जितना भी पढ़ा लिखा है कि नहीं, हमारे अंदर वो एक वीकनेस कहीं ना कहीं होगा, which these smart criminals then exploit. है ना, कि आपको लगेगा कि अरे 1 मिनट में मुझे 10 लाख मिल जाएगा. You will feel tempted suddenly, and that's where the mistake happens. So one has to be सावधान, and one has to be aware.
So you have read so many criminal minds, and you have been so close in the sense of the books and other things. So is there ever been a case where you have felt bad for the criminal and it was justified, his acts? Like the Hindi movies were justified, कि चोरी justified है. Story is a small act, but in a case like a murder is justified or something, or you've never felt that any act of such a level was justified?
No. When someone commits a crime and heinous crimes as murders, rapes, all of that, they cannot be forgiven. And even in for example, the Nirbhaya case, the juvenile kid who was the worst of the lot got away. If he was old enough to rape and to commit an adult crime, he should have been tried as an adult. There should have been no mercy, right? So there is no feeling bad for the criminal. Like for example, there is a story which we did on Savdhan about this girl in Haryana who killed 6 of her own family members. Now, on the surface, it looks like she was a cold-blooded murderer. But when we researched the story, we found out the background of the girl, where this was her stepfather, and when the stepfather married her mother, he used to keep saying, "ये मेरा बच्चा नहीं है, ये तुम्हारा ex-husband का बच्चा है," and he used to treat this little girl very badly, almost like a servant. And his own children that he had with this woman, they also used to treat her very badly. Till at some point of time, she lost the plot. Now, one can feel sorry for her, saying, "बेचारी बचपन से ऐसा torture हुआ है उसके साथ, and therefore she did what she did." But there's always a choice, right? You've taken somebody's life. That is a big choice you have made. So there is no feeling sympathy. There is always a grey area in certain cases. There is always a grey area, but no sympathy.
Sir, you are the co-creator, writer and producer of One Savdhan India, and also producer of Crime Patrol. Now, why do you think true crime as a genre is popular on TV and books?
Okay, so in 2012, the channel reached out to us and said, "Why don't you create a crime show?" So that's when we created Savdhan India. My company, production house, created Savdhan India. And why there was a Crime Patrol was already on air at that point of time. But why was there a need? Because true crime as a genre is super hit. Okay, लोगों को अच्छा लगता है ये सब देखने में, क्योंकि ये वॉयरिस्टिक होता है. अब मैं जब देखता हूँ ये सब, मैं देखता हूँ कि पीपल लाइक टू सी दूसरे बंदे के साथ क्या हुआ, दूसरों के साथ क्या हुआ, अच्छा ऐसा हुआ था क्या, so that little bit of voyeurism is satisfied, because we think that हमारे साथ तो ये सब होगा नहीं, we are safe, ये तो पड़ोस के साथ ही होगा, उनके पड़ोस ऐसे हैं वैसे हैं, ये रात को जाती थी इसकी बीवी, ये वो, all of that. So there is always a little bit of a guilty pleasure in watching things like this. And you open up a newspaper and you see that at least 50% of the news is on crime. So crime is all around us. वो तो कभी रुकने वाला है नहीं, unfortunately, because we humans are absolutely disgusting, right? We are absolutely disgusting. There is no hope for mankind and humanity. तो वो हम है ही ऐसे. So we will continue to commit crime. We will continue to rape the planet. We will continue to do everything. अब लॉकडाउन हुआ है, छोटा सा इंस्टेंट लॉकडाउन हुआ है. We are talking about कि हाँ जलंधर से माउंटेन्स, स्नो माउंटेन्स दिखाई दे रहा है, इधर से वो दिखाई दे रहा है, pollution has cleared, ये वो. But people are still disposing of the masks in large and leaving in a large bulk and leaving it on the roads. This was a lesson for us. Mother Nature trying to clear the planet. This was a lesson for us. We still haven't learned. We will never learn. So वो कब कुछ होने वाला है नहीं. So crime will continue. People will, and therefore the crime continues. More crime genre related books, TV serials, series, all of that will happen.
Okay. Sir, you're a stand-up comedian also, and you write about murder and serial killers. Now they're completely poles apart. How do you manage this?
एक funny चीज बताता हूँ मैं आपको. When a stand-up, have you ever seen stand-up comedians live on stage? Who have you seen?
To YouTube as
YouTube. Okay. So when we perform on stage, so within the stand-up community, there is a certain language we use, right? तो जिस दिन हम परफॉर्म अच्छा करते हैं, जिस दिन ऑडियंस बोलता है वाह वाह, तो देन द अदर कॉमेडियन से अरे यार यू किल्ड इट, ओके यू किल्ड इट. और जिस दिन हम फ्लॉप होते हैं उस दिन बोला जाता है कि यू बॉम्ब्ड. अब इन स्टैंड अप कम्युनिटी के अंदर ये लैंग्वेज देखिए, यू हैव किल्ड इट एंड यू हैव बॉम्ब्ड, उधर भी वायलेंस है. So it's a very funny world where violence and humor are intermingling at together. And I perform stand up and I do stand up to keep my dimagi halat सीधा and sane. और addiction भी है. अभी बचपन से एक्टिंग कर रहा हूँ स्टेज पे, तो एक वो नशा सा हो जाता है जब ऑडियंस आपका परफॉर्मेंस appreciate करे. If you've done theatre, you will know when you've given a punchline or when you've done something and the audience claps, वो कान वान सब गर्म हो जाता है. अंदर से एक विस्फोट होता है. You feel so happy that and then you repeat that line again because you think अरे यार फिर से ताली बज जाएगी. So it's an addiction. It's an addiction for appreciation that I do it for. और प्यार का भूखा भी हूँ. अब क्या करें, तो करना पड़ता है. And crime books I write because I enjoy the genre and I love writing thrillers. So that's how. और ये मेरी पहली किताब है.
Sir, any book which you are currently writing?
So there are two books. एक already has been submitted to publishers. It's in the editing process. It's a completely different genre from true crime. This is a young adult book. Okay, so it's for kids.
Okay.
It's a nice book set in 1986. When I was in class 6, I wrote the book. Then I found the manuscript. कुछ 30 साल 35 साल बाद I found the manuscript, and then मैंने पूरा लिखा फिर से. So it's a young adult book about investigators and all of that. And the third book, which I've just finished day before yesterday, yesterday I finished it. The first draft of my third book. It's a memoir of me growing up in Calcutta and Kalimpong, where I was in a boarding school called Dr. Graham's Homes. So it's a memoir. So those two books are being written right now, currently.
Okay. So it was such a wonderful conversation I've had with you, especially the insight into the criminal minds and crime patrol and Savdhan India. It was really great talking to you, sir.
Thank you so much for
So guys, I was in conversation with Mr. Anirban, the author of the book The Deadly Dozen. It's an extremely interesting book. Do check that book out. And yes, as you know, I post in videos 4 times a week, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. The time is 7:30 p.m. Do tune in. You have any questions, my email address is given below. And yes, don't forget to subscribe and share comments and views. It is very, very important, and it's always very encouraging to see those comments, views, and those subscriptions. And yes, do take care of yourself. That is very important. And keep smiling. That is also very, very important. See you soon. Bye. Take care.